Have you ever felt the exquisite ache of love, that resonant chord struck deep within the soul? Have you known the dizzying ascent of romance, where two spirits seem to merge into a single flame? And have you too navigated the shadowed valleys of heartbreak, where the echoes of shared laughter turn into the sharp pangs of absence? This journey we call love, this intricate dance of connection and separation, is perhaps the most profound and universal human experience. Yet, how often do we pause, truly pause, to understand its currents, its demands, and its transformative power? This reflection is for you, for the heart that has loved, that longs to love, and that seeks a love that endures, a love that deepens with the unfolding tapestry of time. Come, let us turn inward, for the truest compass on this path lies within, the chambers of our own being, the quest for enduring love, that sacred bond that withstands the inevitable storms of life. Our existence, we embark on this search with hearts brimming with hope and dreams woven from whispered promises and idealized visions. Yet the ancient wisdom traditions echoing through the corridors of time. The partner we seek, the love we aspire to share, is intimately connected to the state of our own inner world. It is akin to a still pond reflecting the clarity of the sky above. If the pond is murky or agitated, the reflection will be distorted. Therefore, the very first step on this sacred journey of love is not to seek, but to cultivate, to till the soil of our own being so that it may become fertile ground for a love that truly nourishes and sustains. This cultivation begins with an honest and courageous self-assessment, a deep dive into the reservoirs of our own capacity to give and receive love. Are we truly open within the sanctuary of our own hearts to welcome another soul in all its vulnerability and complexity? Have we cleared the debris of past hurts, the tangled weeds of unresolved emotions that can choke the tender shoots of a new connection? Our capacity to love is not an infinite resource. It is a wellspring that can be depleted by unhealed wounds, by the constant demands of a fragmented inner life, or by the simple lack of space, the emotional bandwidth required to hold another's heart alongside our own. Think of the intricate architecture of the heart, with its chambers and pathways. If these pathways are blocked by the sediment of past grievances, by the rigid walls of defensiveness, or by the sheer clutter of an overactive mind, how can the life-giving waters of love flow freely? True capacity is not merely the desire to love, to prioritize another's needs without sacrificing our own integrity, and to consistently choose connection over the alluring ease of emotional withdrawal. It requires a willingness to confront our own limitations. It is about acknowledging our own needs, our own vulnerabilities, and understanding that true partnership is not about two halves striving to become whole, but about two whole beings choosing to walk alongside each other, offering support, understanding, and unwavering presence. This journey inward, this honest appraisal of our own capacity, is not always comfortable. It may require us to face shadows we have long avoided, to revisit past hurts with compassionate eyes, and to dismantle the protective walls we have built around our hearts. Yet, it is in this very process of self-inquiry and inner clearing that we create the space for a love that is both profound and enduring to take root and flourish. It is the essential foundation upon which all meaningful connections are built. The unfolding of a love that lasts is not solely reliant on the breadth of our inner capacity. It also demands a keen and discerning awareness, a romantic literacy, that extends far beyond the initial rush of infatuation and delves into the deeper nuances of connection and compatibility. We often stumble in the realm of love not because our hearts are incapable of profound affection, how it speaks in different languages, and how to nurture its growth through the changing seasons of life. The initial stages of romance are often characterized by an intoxicating blend of chemistry and projection. We see in the other the fulfillment of our deepest longings, the embodiment of our idealized visions. Yet, as the initial enchantment begins to soften, as the everyday realities of life intertwine, a deeper form of understanding becomes essential. This is where romantic literacy comes into play. The ability to discern genuine compatibility from fleeting chemistry, to recognize the subtle shifts in our partner's needs and expressions of love, and to articulate our own desires with clarity and vulnerability. Think of love as a language with many dialects. What might feel like a profound expression of affection to one person could be misinterpreted or even feel alienating to another. Understanding our own love language, whether it be words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, or physical touch, and learning to speak and understand our partner's primary language is crucial for fostering a sense of being truly seen, understood, and cherished. Without this awareness, misunderstandings can easily arise, leading to feelings of neglect, frustration, and a gradual erosion of the bond that once felt so vibrant. Furthermore, romantic literacy involves understanding the natural transitions that love undergoes over time. The passionate intensity of early romance often mellows into a deeper, more companionate form of love. This is not a sign that the love has diminished, but rather that it has matured, much like a seed that has grown into a strong and resilient tree. However, if we cling to the initial fiery intensity as the sole measure of love's validity, we may become disillusioned when this natural shift occurs. Awareness also extends to understanding our own patterns and tendencies in relationships. Do we tend to repeat past mistakes? Are we aware of our defense mechanisms and how they might hinder intimacy? Do we project our insecurities onto our partners? Self-awareness is the bedrock of healthy relationships. By understanding our own inner workings, our triggers, and our emotional baggage, we become more conscious participants in the dance of love, less prone to repeating destructive patterns, and more capable of navigating conflict with empathy and understanding. This journey of awareness is a continuous process of learning and growth, both individually and as a couple. It requires honest self-reflection, open communication, and a willingness to learn from both the joys and the challenges that arise along the way. It is about cultivating a mindful presence in the relationship, paying attention not just to the grand gestures, but to the subtle cues, the unspoken needs, and the ever-evolving landscape of the shared heart. In the intricate tapestry of enduring love, beyond the threads of capacity and awareness, lies the vital strength of resilience, the ability to weather the inevitable storms, to bend without breaking, and to emerge from challenging times with a deeper understanding and a more profound connection. The path of love is not always smooth. It is marked by moments of disagreement, misunderstanding, and even pain. Life's inherent uncertainties, career shifts, financial pressures, family challenges, personal growth spurts that may lead individuals in different directions for a time, can all place significant strain on a relationship. It is in these moments of turbulence that resilience becomes the anchor that prevents the bond from drifting apart. Think of a mighty oak tree standing firm against a powerful wind. Its resilience comes not from rigid immovability, but from a deep root system that provides stability, and a flexible trunk and branches that can sway with the force of the gale without snapping. Similarly, resilient relationships are characterized by a deep foundation of commitment, trust, and mutual respect, coupled with the flexibility and understanding to navigate disagreements and adapt to changing circumstances. One of the key aspects of resilience in love is the ability to manage conflict constructively. Disagreements are not necessarily signs of incompatibility. They are inevitable when two unique individuals share their lives. The crucial factor is how these conflicts are addressed. Do they escalate into hurtful arguments filled with blame and criticism, or are they approached with a spirit of understanding, a willingness to listen to each other's perspectives, and a commitment to finding solutions that honor both partners' needs? Resilience involves the capacity to repair after conflict, to offer and accept apologies, and to move forward without holding on to resentment. It is about recognizing that the relationship is more important than winning an argument. Furthermore, resilience is fostered by a shared sense of purpose and a commitment to the we of the relationship, even when individual needs or desires may temporarily diverge. It is about remembering the shared values and dreams that brought the couple together in the first place and finding ways to navigate individual aspirations within the context of the partnership. In today's world, with its constant barrage of external stimuli and the pervasive influence of social media, resilience in relationships faces unique challenges. The curated perfection often presented online can create unrealistic expectations and foster a sense of dissatisfaction with the perfectly normal ups and downs of real-life partnerships. The ease of connecting with new people through technology can also create temptations and undermine the commitment to working through challenges. Within an existing relationship, cultivating resilience in this environment requires a conscious effort to prioritize the real over the virtual, to nurture the bond with your partner through genuine connection rather than seeking fleeting validation elsewhere, and to develop a discerning perspective that recognizes the difference between normal relationship struggles and genuinely toxic patterns. Resilience is not a passive quality. It is actively cultivated through conscious choices, through a commitment to open communication, through the willingness to forgive and be forgiven, and through a shared belief in the enduring power of the love you have built together. It is the quiet strength that allows a relationship to not only survive the storms of life, but to emerge from them stronger and more deeply connected. Beyond the foundational pillars of capacity, awareness, and resilience, the sustained flourishing of love requires the consistent and conscious application of effort. Love, in its enduring form, is not a static entity that once ignited, burns eternally without tending. It is more akin to a garden, which requires constant care, nourishment, and attention to truly thrive. The initial spark of romance may arise spontaneously, fueled by the novelty and excitement of a new connection. But the long-term warmth and vibrancy of a relationship are cultivated through the deliberate and often unglamorous work of every day effort. This effort manifests in countless ways, both big and small. It is in the intentional acts of kindness, the thoughtful gestures that demonstrate care and consideration for your partner's well-being. It is in actively listening when they share their joys and sorrows, offering a supportive presence without judgment or interruption. It is in carving out quality time amidst the demands of busy lives to connect on a deeper level, to nurture shared interests, and to simply enjoy each other's company. Think of the small, consistent efforts: a loving note left in a lunch bag, a helping hand with a household chore, a surprise cup of coffee in the morning. These are the daily drops of water that nourish the roots of a relationship. Effort also involves the willingness to engage in the sometimes challenging work of maintaining intimacy, both emotional and physical. It means staying curious about your partner, continuously learning about their evolving needs and desires, and finding new ways to connect and deepen your bond over time. This requires vulnerability, open communication about your own needs and desires, and a willingness to step outside of your comfort zone to explore new dimensions of intimacy together. However, effort in relationships is not solely about the positive aspects of nurturing connection. It also encompasses the crucial work of conflict resolution. Disagreements are inevitable, but the way in which they are navigated can either strengthen or erode the foundation of the relationship. Effort in this context means approaching conflict with a spirit of collaboration rather than competition, focusing on understanding your partner's perspective and seeking solutions that honor both individuals' needs. It involves learning to communicate effectively during difficult conversations, to express your own feelings and needs assertively but respectfully, and to listen actively to your partner's point of view, even when you disagree. It also requires the humility to apologize when you have made a mistake, and the willingness to forgive your partner for theirs. Furthermore, sustained effort involves actively working to maintain the spark and excitement in the relationship over the long term. This requires intentionality, planning dates, trying new things together, creating shared experiences that break the routine and foster a sense of adventure and fun. It's about resisting the tendency to take your partner for granted and continuously finding ways to show appreciation and keep the romance alive, even amidst the predictable rhythms of daily life. Effort, in its truest sense, is a conscious and ongoing commitment to investing your time, energy, and attention into the relationship. It is about recognizing that love is not just a feeling, but also a verb, an active choice that you make every day to nurture and cherish the connection you share. The journey toward a love that deepens and endures, a love that becomes a sanctuary amidst the storms of life, is not a destination to be reached, but rather a continuous unfolding, a sacred pilgrimage undertaken hand in hand with another soul. We have explored the vital foundations, the inner capacity to hold and cherish another, the mindful awareness that allows us to understand and navigate the ever-evolving landscape of connection, the resilient strength that enables us to weather the inevitable tempests, and the consistent effort that nourishes and sustains the precious bond over time. Yet, as we draw these reflections to a close, it is important to acknowledge that perhaps the most profound element in this intricate tapestry of love is that which transcends mere strategy or technique. It is the underlying spirit, the fundamental orientation of the heart that ultimately determines the depth and longevity of our romantic unions. This spirit is perhaps best captured by the ancient wisdom that emphasizes the interconnectedness of all beings. The understanding that within the heart of another resides the same spark of divinity that dwells within our own. When we approach love not as a means to fulfill our own needs or to alleviate our own loneliness, but as an opportunity to witness and honor the inherent beauty and worth of another human being, a profound shift occurs. The focus moves from what we can receive to what we can give, from the pursuit of personal happiness within the relationship to the co-creation of a shared journey rooted in compassion, empathy, and mutual respect. This selfless orientation of the heart is not about sacrificing our own needs or losing ourselves in the other. Rather, it is about recognizing that true fulfillment in love arises from the joy of giving, from the deep satisfaction of contributing to another's well-being, and from the profound sense of connection that blossoms when two hearts are aligned in this spirit of selfless giving. It echoes the timeless wisdom found in various spiritual traditions, which speak of the transformative power of selfless service and the understanding that true happiness lies not in the accumulation of external possessions or the fulfillment of ego-driven desires, but in the cultivation of inner qualities such as love, compassion, and equanimity. In the context of romantic relationships, this translates into a willingness to practice tolerance for our partner's flaws and imperfections. Recognizing that just as we ourselves are a work in progress, so too is the person we have chosen to share our life with. It involves extending forgiveness for the inevitable mistakes and hurts that will arise. Understanding that these are opportunities for growth and deeper understanding, rather than reasons for resentment or separation, and it calls us to cultivate a spirit of service, actively looking for ways to support our partner's dreams, to ease their burdens, and to bring joy into their lives. Not out of obligation or expectation of reciprocation, but simply out of the genuine desire to see them flourish. This underlying spirit of selfless love is the invisible thread that weaves together the elements of capacity, awareness, resilience, and effort, transforming them from mere concepts into the living, breathing, the reality of a deeply fulfilling and enduring partnership. It is the heart's silent language, the unspoken understanding that transcends words and creates a bond that is resilient to the vagaries of life and the inevitable imperfections of human nature. As you continue on your own journey of love, remember that the most potent magic lies not in finding the perfect partner, but in striving to become the most loving and compassionate version of yourself. For it is in this inner transformation that we not only attract a love that reflects our own growth, but also cultivate the inner resources to nurture and sustain that precious connection through all the seasons of life we have journeyed through. The intricate landscapes of capacity, awareness, resilience, and effort. Uncovering the vital threads that weave together the tapestry of enduring love. We've spoken of love as a cultivated garden, a language to be learned, a muscle to be strengthened, and a commitment to be chosen anew each day. Yet, as we stand at the precipice of deeper understanding, we must acknowledge that beneath these foundational elements lies an even more profound truth, a sacred current that gives life and meaning to all our conscious efforts in love. This is the realm of the unconditional, the boundless, the selfless heart. Echoing the timeless wisdom whispered through ancient spiritual traditions, consider the very essence of true intimacy. It is not merely the merging of two desires, but the quiet unfolding of two souls, each recognizing the inherent divinity within the other. This recognition transcends the fleeting allure of superficial compatibility, the transactional dance of needs met and expectations fulfilled. Instead, it invites us into a deeper space where love becomes a mirror reflecting the boundless nature of the self. In many spiritual paths, whether through the contemplative practices of Vedanta, the mindful presence of Buddhist teachings, or the devotional surrender of Bhakti Yoga, the ultimate aim is to dissolve the narrow confines of the ego and experience the interconnectedness of all existence. Applied to the realm of human relationships, this translates into a radical shift in perspective. Love ceases to be about what we can gain from another: validation, security, comfort, and transforms into an expansive act of giving. It becomes a joyful offering, a willing outpouring of compassion and understanding, without the subtle or overt expectation of return. This is the challenging, yet ultimately liberating, path of egoless love. The ego, with its incessant demands for control, recognition, and gratification, is often the greatest impediment to profound connection. It creates an internal calculus, weighing benefits against costs, seeking reassurance, and fearing vulnerability. When love is filtered through the lens of ego, it can become conditional, fragile, dependent on external circumstances and the other's ability to fulfill our specific requirements. I will love you if you make me happy, if you conform to my ideals, if you never disappoint me. But true love, the kind that weathers every storm and truly transforms, is born from a different wellspring. It springs from a heart that understands its own wholeness, a heart that gives not out of neediness, but out of an overflowing abundance. It is a love that sees the other not as an object to complete a personal narrative, but as a sovereign being, deserving of respect, empathy, and unwavering presence, irrespective of their perceived perfection or imperfection. This doesn't mean passively accepting harmful behavior or neglecting one's own needs. It means approaching challenges with an inner equanimity, a calm certainty that recognizes the shared humanity, the inherent potential for growth within both oneself and the beloved. It is the wisdom to discern between the temporary fluctuations of personality and the unchanging essence of the soul. This cultivation of egoless love is a demanding spiritual practice in itself. It requires us to continuously question our motivations, to observe the subtle ways in which our own insecurities might project onto our partner, and to release the tightly clenched fist of expectation. For it is expectation, in all its myriad, forms the expectation of constant happiness, of unwavering alignment, of perpetual romance, that is the primary architect of disappointment and the subtle poison that erodes even the most promising connections. When we attach our well-being to how another person behaves, feels, or responds, we create a fragile structure, vulnerable to every passing breeze. The path of wisdom invites us to dismantle these structures of dependency, not to detach from love, but to ground it in a deeper, more stable reality. This inner work, this continuous refinement of our own emotional and spiritual landscape, is the true secret to a love that flourishes without bounds. It is the realization that the capacity for unconditional love resides within us, waiting to be unleashed, waiting to transform not only our relationships, but our very experience of being. The essence of a truly transformative love, one that transcends the fleeting pleasures of initial attraction and deepens into a profound spiritual companionship, lies in the conscious practice of selfless giving. This concept is beautifully articulated across various mystical traditions. Often summarized as the principle of service without expectation, it is a radical shift from the conventional understanding of relationships, which often operates on an unspoken transactional basis. I give to you, so you will give to me. While mutual giving and receiving are undoubtedly vital in any healthy partnership, the spiritual dimension of love elevates this exchange to a higher plane. Here, giving is not a means to an end, not a strategic investment for future returns, but an inherent expression of compassion and an overflowing heart. Imagine the universe itself in a perpetual state of giving. The sun radiates light and warmth. Without demanding recognition, the earth offers its bounty without asking for anything in return, and the rivers flow freely, nourishing all in their path. This cosmic principle of selfless emanation, when brought into our human connections, transforms the very nature of our interactions. It means actively seeking ways to enrich your partner's life, to support their dreams, to alleviate their burdens, and to bring them joy, not because you anticipate a specific reciprocation, but simply because their well-being becomes an extension of your own. This profound empathy, this ability to genuinely place another's needs and happiness alongside or even momentarily ahead of your own, is a hallmark of mature spiritual love. It requires a profound level of self-awareness and inner security. For only when one feels truly complete within oneself can one give so freely without depleting one's own reserves. A heart that is constantly seeking external validation or fulfillment from its partner will struggle with selfless service, as its giving will always be tinged with an underlying need for reassurance or return. This act of selfless giving is often expressed through seemingly small, everyday gestures, a quiet act of support during a stressful time, a thoughtful surprise that reflects deep understanding of their preferences, a genuine smile or word of encouragement when they feel discouraged. These are not grand theatrical performances, but consistent, heartfelt demonstrations of care that build a reservoir of trust and affection. This also extends to the less glamorous aspects of life together, like understanding and accepting your partner's flaws and quirks. Every human being carries imperfections, patterns, and occasional eccentricities. Selfless giving involves cultivating a deep well of tolerance and patience for these aspects, not through grudging endurance, but through a compassionate understanding that recognizes the inherent struggle and humanity in every individual. It means seeing beyond the surface irritations to the deeper essence of the person, embracing them fully, warts and all, just as you hope to be embraced yourself. This is not to say one should tolerate disrespectful or harmful behavior. Self-respect and healthy boundaries are paramount. Rather, it is about developing an inner spaciousness that allows for the imperfections of another, preventing minor irritations from escalating into major conflicts. Ultimately, this radical practice of selfless giving is a direct path to experiencing deeper joy and meaning in love. When we release the burden of expectation, when we give simply for the sake of giving, we free ourselves from the suffering born of disappointment. The happiness of the beloved becomes its own reward, and in that expanded state of consciousness, the heart finds its true liberation. It is a love that transcends the ego's calculations, a love that mirrors the boundless compassion of the universe, and a love that truly endures, for its source is not in external conditions, but in the infinite wellspring within. Of modern connection, shaped by the pervasive influence of technology, presents unique challenges to the cultivation of resilient and enduring love. Our digital age, with its boundless options and instant gratifications, subtly reshapes our understanding of commitment, often prioritizing fleeting novelties over profound depth. Consider the paradox of overwhelming choice. Just as a shopper presented with a dizzying array of cereals might freeze and ultimately choose nothing, so too can the modern heart become paralyzed by the seemingly endless parade of potential partners. Dating applications, while offering unprecedented access, are often designed to keep us perpetually swiping, fostering a mindset of constant rejection or next best rather than deep engagement. The brain, accustomed to the dopamine hit of a new match or a fresh profile, can become conditioned to seek these short bursts of excitement, diminishing its capacity for sustained satisfaction. Scientific inquiry into human bonding illuminates this fascinating dynamic. When a person makes a true commitment to one individual, the very architecture of their brain begins to rewrite itself, adapting for a deeper sense of contentment and stability. Research has shown that long-term committed couples exhibit higher levels of oxytocin and vasopressin hormones, crucial for bonding, trust, and emotional stability. These chemical signatures of attachment contribute to a profound sense of well-being that transcends the transient thrills of novelty. Furthermore, the emerging field of epigenetics suggests that our life choices, including our romantic partnerships, can subtly alter the expression of our genes, the comfort of a loving embrace, the shared laughter over years of memories, the steady presence of a devoted partner. These seemingly simple aspects of love can positively influence our biological tapestry, contributing to long-term health and emotional resilience. This scientific understanding underscores the profound biological and psychological benefits of committed connection, illustrating that our bodies, minds, and spirits are designed for enduring bonds. This daily effort encompasses two fundamental dimensions. Firstly, there is the dimension of refueling the conscious acts that reignite the spark, infuse joy, and create shared dopamine experiences that bind partners closer. This isn't about grand gestures every day, but about the consistent little things that demonstrate care, thoughtfulness, and a playful spirit. It could be planning spontaneous surprises, even small ones that break the routine, intentionally trying new activities together to create fresh memories, cultivating shared inside jokes that deepen your unique bond, or ensuring regular physical touch, gentle kisses, and comforting cuddles that reaffirm intimacy. It is in celebrating each other's small wins, acknowledging efforts, and expressing genuine appreciation that the emotional bank account of the relationship is continuously replenished, ensuring that the initial thrill evolves into a deeper, more profound sense of connection and shared delight. These moments, often woven into the fabric of everyday life, are the gentle breezes that keep the flames of passion flickering, preventing them from settling into a complacent ember. However, as vital as refueling is, the second, often more challenging, dimension of effort lies in conflict resolution. Disagreements are an inevitable part of human interaction, especially within the intimate confines of a long-term partnership. Love does not eliminate conflict. Rather, it provides the crucible, in which conflict can be transformed into deeper understanding and growth. This skill, rarely taught in formal education, but crucial for navigating life, involves knowing how to fight with integrity, how to disagree without dismantling the bond, and how to apologize authentically without the immediate impulse to defend one's own ego. It requires self-awareness to identify our own defense mechanisms and coping strategies when triggered, and the courage to address the underlying issue rather than attacking the person. It is about listening deeply, truly hearing your partner's perspective even when it differs from your own, and seeking solutions that honor both individuals' needs rather than striving to win the argument. This process can be uncomfortable, demanding patience, empathy, and vulnerability. Yet, it is through successfully navigating these challenges that relationships forge a deeper strength, building trust and resilience for future trials. The willingness to engage in this difficult work, to confront discomfort for the sake of connection, is a profound expression of commitment and love. It shows that the relationship itself is valued above individual pride or the fleeting satisfaction of being right. The pinnacle of sustained romantic effort, woven into the very fabric of profound connection, is perhaps best understood through the twin lenses of tolerance and selfless service. These principles, deeply rooted in spiritual wisdom, elevate love beyond mere emotional resonance to a profound act of conscious intention and empathetic action. Tolerance, in this context, is not a passive resignation to a partner's flaws, but an active, compassionate acceptance of their full humanity. Every individual is a mosaic of strengths and imperfections, a constantly evolving being. To truly love means to embrace the entirety of this being, their quirks, their habits, their moments of vulnerability, and even their occasional missteps, with a quiet understanding that stems from a deep well of empathy. It is the conscious decision to see beyond the superficial irritations to the deeper essence of the person, acknowledging their inherent worth and potential for growth, just as we hope to be seen and accepted in our own imperfections. This requires a mature perspective, moving past the idealized image of a perfect partner to embrace the authentic, often messy, reality of a shared life. It is in tolerating the small, everyday frictions with grace that the larger, more enduring piece of the relationship can flourish. This spiritual tolerance is distinct from unhealthy passivity. It does not mean enduring abuse or disrespect, but rather cultivating a spaciousness of heart that allows for the inevitable human frailties without losing sight of the deeper love. Complementing tolerance is the principle of selfless service, an act of looking for ways to uplift, support, and enhance your partner's life, without the subtle or overt expectation of reciprocation. This is a radical departure from the ego's usual calculations, which often weigh every contribution against a potential return. In its purest form, selfless service and love becomes its own reward. It is the joy of witnessing your partner's happiness, the satisfaction of easing their burdens, the quiet fulfillment of knowing you have contributed to their well-being. This can manifest in countless ways, anticipating a need before it's expressed, offering practical help without being asked, providing emotional support during a challenging time, or simply creating an atmosphere of peace and encouragement. It's about understanding their love language, how they uniquely receive and feel loved, and then making a conscious effort to express your affection in ways that resonate deeply with them, even if it doesn't align with your own preferred mode of expression. For some, it might be words of affirmation. For others, acts of service. For still others, quality time, physical touch, or receiving thoughtful gifts. Understanding and honoring these diverse expressions of love requires genuine attentiveness and a willingness to step outside of our own assumptions. The elimination of expectation. A recurring theme in many spiritual teachings is perhaps the most challenging yet liberating aspect of this selfless approach to love. Expectations, however, subtle, are the primary architects of human suffering. When we project our desires, needs, or idealized scenarios onto our partner, we inadvertently set the stage for disappointment. The moment reality diverges from our expectation, suffering arises. In love, this means releasing the mental burden of how a partner should behave, what they should say, or how they should make us feel. Instead, the focus shifts entirely to our own internal state and our capacity to give. This doesn't imply indifference. Rather, it cultivates an inner freedom that allows us to appreciate what is, to respond from a place of genuine presence, and to love without the constant pressure of external validation. It is a profound act of trust in the universe, a surrender to the unfolding of life, and a recognition that true happiness in a relationship stems not from the perfect alignment of two beings, but from the conscious, courageous choice to love, serve, and accept, irrespective of conditions. This transformative approach to effort, rooted in tolerance and selfless service, moves love from a transactional exchange to a boundless expression of the spirit, creating a bond that is truly enduring and deeply fulfilling as our exploration of love, commitment, and enduring partnership draws to its close. We are left with a profound realization. The architecture of lasting affection is built not merely upon grand declarations or fleeting passions, but upon the quiet strength of daily choices rooted in self-awareness and conscious effort. We've delved into the profound importance of cultivating internal capacity, the mental, emotional, and spiritual space required to genuinely hold another's heart. We've illuminated the need for awareness, a romantic literacy that the evolving language of love, and understands the intricate dance of human connection beyond initial chemistry. We've acknowledged the indispensable role of resilience, the unwavering commitment to stay and to grow through discomfort. Embracing the full spectrum of a shared life rather than seeking endless, fleeting novelty, and we've celebrated the consistent, intentional acts of refueling and resolving the quiet work that keeps the flame of connection vibrant through all seasons. However, the digital ecosystem often works against this natural inclination for depth. Our online experiences are frequently curated to provide a constant stream of short-lived dopamine highs. Social media, in particular, can become a pervasive source of doubt and dissatisfaction. Direct messages from strangers, the fleeting validation of likes on a photograph, the idealized couple goals presented by influencers, all these elements conspire to create a subtle but insidious narrative that perhaps something better exists. Just beyond the horizon, we may be physically present with a real, complex human being, while our digital devices present an endless reel of manufactured perfection, undermining our contentment with the authentic reality before us. This constant exposure to curated, often unrealistic, portrayals of relationships can lead us to perceive normal challenges in our own partnerships as toxic or insufficient. It can foster a fear of missing out, leading to a chronic state of dissatisfaction where genuine connection is overlooked in favor of idealized, unattainable fantasies. The algorithms that govern our digital lives are, in essence, training us to be perpetually unsettled, perpetually seeking the next fleeting stimulation. This constant bombardment of options and ideals demands a heightened sense of resilience. In modern relationships, resilience means the unwavering capacity to stay, to invest, to choose your partner, even when the initial magic dims, when the honeymoon phase recedes, and when you are left with the authentic reality of a human being, complete with their flaws, their quirks, and their distinct opinions. It is the strength to navigate boredom, to embrace the messy moments, and to lean into uncomfortable conversations. True resilience in love is not about enduring hardship with gritted teeth. It is about cultivating an inner fortitude that recognizes the profound value of a shared journey, accepting that authentic intimacy deepens through shared challenges, and that the quiet strength of unwavering commitment far outweighs the fleeting excitement of constant novelty. It is the deep understanding that the greatest rewards of love are often found not in the initial spark, but in the sustained warmth of a fire tended with care and steadfastness through all of life's changing seasons. The forging of resilient bonds in the crucible of modern life necessitates a profound inner journey, one that asks us to confront our deepest patterns and reshape our responses to external temptations. To cultivate true resilience, we must first look inward and understand the subtle currents that drive our choices. Are we, for instance, subtly addicted to the fleeting validation of new connections, the exhilarating rush of being desired by someone fresh and unknown? Does the endless scroll of social media, with its curated snippets of perceived perfection, become a refuge from the deeper, more challenging work of addressing real relationship issues? Do we find ourselves more invested in the external portrayal of our love life, how it looks online, than in the authentic, lived experience of how it truly feels within our hearts? And perhaps most tellingly, do we consciously or unconsciously sabotage good, stable connections because the unpredictable terrain of uncertainty feels somehow more exciting, more aligned with a restless spirit than the quiet strength of stability? These are not easy questions to confront, for they touch upon the shadow aspects of our own desires and insecurities. Yet, it is in bravely facing these patterns that we begin to dismantle the unconscious mechanisms that undermine our capacity for lasting love. This process of self-inquiry is not an act of self-condemnation, but an act of liberation. It is about illuminating the hidden corners of our own psyche, understanding the conditioning that has shaped our responses, and then consciously choosing a different path. For those who find themselves drawn to the constant churn of new options, it is a call to recognize that this pursuit often leads to a perpetual state of dissatisfaction, a fleeting high that never quite settles into sustained contentment. The external world may offer a kaleidoscope of temporary distractions, but genuine, lasting fulfillment in love stems from an internal commitment, a deep and conscious choice to invest in the profound richness of one singular connection. This commitment, while seemingly old school in a culture obsessed with novelty, is the true bedrock of long-term results, a truth validated by the accumulated wisdom of human experience across millennia. It is a commitment that stands firm against the shifting sands of temptation, the alluring whispers of what if, and the endless stream of perceived alternatives. Resilience, then, is not merely about enduring hardship. It is an active cultivation of inner strength, a deliberate choice to engage when the novelty fades and the true work begins. It is the courage to remain when love loses its initial sparkle and demands effort, when the messy realities of life intertwine with the romantic ideal, and when the beloved reveals their full, imperfect humanity. It is in these moments when the butterflies have settled, when the honeymoon glow has softened into the warm embers of companionship, when we confront a real human being with flaws and opinions that may diverge from our own, that the true test of love's mettle arises. And it is in these moments that resilience, born from a deep internal commitment, empowers us to choose love again, consciously, consistently, and with unwavering resolve. This enduring commitment allows us to transcend the superficiality of modern dating culture and to anchor our hearts in the profound satisfaction of a love that is built to last. A love that deepens and expands precisely because it has weathered the storms and embraced the full spectrum of human experience. It is the courageous act of choosing depth over breadth, sustained connection over fleeting stimulation, and authentic intimacy over idealized fantasy. Beyond the unwavering strength of resilience and flowing through every aspect of an enduring union lies the ever-present requirement for conscious effort. The romantic ideal often whispers of effortless harmony, of souls so perfectly aligned that love simply is, without the need for tending or conscious contribution. Yet, the wisdom gleaned from countless enduring partnerships reveals a different truth, that love in its long-term manifestation is a living, breathing entity that thrives on diligent cultivation, on the consistent application of energy and intention. To believe that love once found will simply sustain itself without active participation is to misunderstand its very nature. It is akin to believing a garden will yield fruit without sowing, watering, or weeding. As some profound perspectives suggest love is not just a noun, it is a verb. It is an action, a choice, a continuous process of giving and receiving. Yet perhaps the most pivotal insight, the guiding star that illuminates this entire journey, is the understanding that the ultimate quest in love is not to find the perfect partner, but to continuously strive to become the most loving, compassionate, and evolved version of oneself. True partnership is not about to incomplete halves merging to form a whole, but about to complete self-aware individuals choosing, consciously and consistently, to walk alongside each other, supporting, challenging, and nurturing each other's growth. It is a continuous pilgrimage of mutual becoming where each person serves as a catalyst for the other's highest potential. The love that lasts is not born from a sudden, effortless alignment, but from a shared commitment to this profound inner work. It is the willingness to confront one's own shadows, to dismantle the ego's defensive walls, and to consistently choose vulnerability over guardedness, empathy over judgment, and connection over separation. This journey of self-refinement in the context of relationship is, at its heart, a spiritual endeavor. It echoes the timeless teachings that emphasize the liberation found in selfless action, the peace that arises from the dissolution of expectation, and the boundless joy that flows from a heart rooted in unconditional presence. It is a daily practice of cultivating inner equanimity, recognizing that while external circumstances and human behaviors may fluctuate, the deeper wellspring of love within remains constant. The challenges that inevitably arise in any long-term partnership become not obstacles but sacred opportunities for growth, for deeper understanding, and for strengthening the very fabric of the bond. Each moment of friction, each point of disagreement, each period of doubt can be transformed into a stepping stone towards greater intimacy. If approached with humility, honesty, and a profound commitment to the shared journey, the greatest gift we can offer in love is not a flawless exterior or a perfectly curated existence, but the raw, authentic offering of our evolving selves, willing to learn, willing to forgive, and willing to grow. It is in this courageous vulnerability, this continuous unfolding of our deepest truth, that love finds its most fertile ground. It ceases to be merely a feeling and becomes a conscious act of creation, a living testament to the transformative power of human connection. The love that endures is not an accident of fate, but a masterpiece, painted with the brushstrokes of patience, understanding, sacrifice, and unwavering devotion. It is a journey of ever-deepening appreciation, a celebration of the unique dance between two souls constantly evolving, continuously choosing, and eternally intertwined. May your path be blessed with such a love, one that reflects the infinite capacity of your own heart.